So in this lecture, I'm going to introduce primes and their distributions. Now we'll move to the definition of prime number. Any integer p is greater than 1 which has exactly two factors, that is 1 and p itself, is known as prime or prime number. For example, 2 is a prime number. It is a even prime number because this number 2 has only two factors, 1 and 2 itself. Again, 3 is a prime number, so this is divisible by only 1 and 3 itself. So similarly 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23, 29 and so on. So these are the examples of prime numbers. So these numbers divisible by only one and number itself. Any move to the definition of composite number. Any number greater than 1 which has more than two factors is called a composite number. For example, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 12 are composite numbers. Now let us take a definition of twin primes. Two successive odd integers p and p plus 2 which are prime are called twin primes. For example, 3 and 5 are twin primes because these two are successive odd integers, therefore 3 and 5 are the twin primes. Similarly 5 and 7 are twin primes. 11 and 13 are twin primes. 17 and 19 are twin primes. You can observe this here. So 5 and 7 are the successive odd integers and they are primes. So therefore 5 and 7 are the twin primes. 11 and 13 are the odd integers and moreover they are prime and successive odd integers, therefore 11 and 13 are the twin primes. So similarly 17 and 19 are the twin primes. So we'll move to the theorem. If p is a prime number and p divides ab, then you have to prove that either p divides a or p divides b. Let us move to the proof If P divides A, then there is nothing to prove the result. We assume that suppose P does not divide A, since P is a prime, then the divisors of P are 1 and P itself. So since P is a prime, then the divisors of P are 1 and P itself. So this implies that either GCD of P comma A is equal to 1 or GCD of P comma A is equal to P. So this is possible according as P does not divide A or P divides A. Since P does not divide A, because we assumed that P does not divide A, then we have GCD of P comma A is equal to 1. So P does not divide A, then therefore GCD of P comma A is equal to 1. Now by Euclid's lemma, then P divides AB with GCD of P comma A is equal to 1. This implies P divides B. For example, prime number 5 divides 10. So this implies we can write 5 divides 2 into 5. We can observe that 5 divides 5, but 5 does not divide 2. Let us take another example. 7 divides 14. So this implies 7 divides 2 into 7. So this implies, but 7 divides 7, but 7 does not divide 2. Now we will move to the theorem. If P is a prime and P divides the number A1 into A2 and so on An, so therefore A1 into A2 and so on An is a multiple of P. So then you have to prove that P divides AK, where AK is the any one of the number of A1, A2 and so on An. To the proof, suppose so P does not divides any of the numbers A1, A2 and so on An, then GCD of P with A1, A2 and so on An is equal to 1. It means so P is relatively prime with each of the numbers A1, A2 and so on An. Hence A1 into A2 into and so on An is not a multiple of number p, but which is a contradiction, because a1 into a2 and so on, an is a multiple of p, which is contradiction. Therefore p divides at least one of the numbers a1, a2 and so on, an. So that is p divides ak, where k is lies between 1 to n. Example, 2 divides 28, so this implies 2 divides 7 into 4, 7 4 is 28, or this implies 2 divides 7 into 2 into 2. So here 2 does not divide 7, but 2 divides 2 here. So this implies 2 divides 2, but 2 does not divide 7. So now we'll move to the important theorem, that is a fundamental theorem of arithmetic. So every positive integer n is greater than 1 can be expressed as product of prime factors uniquely. So before moving to the proof of the theorem, let us take an example. Let us take a is equal to 144. Let us factorize. We can divide by 2 this number. So 2 sevens are 14, and remaining for 2 twos are 4. Again, you can divide by 2. 2 threes are 6, and 2 6 are 12, and then again divide by 2. So 2 ones are then 16 will be there. 2 eights are, we can divide by 3. 3 6 are 18, and again we can divide by 3, that is 3 twos are. So we can therefore 144 can be written as 2 into 2 into 2 into 3 into 3 into 2. So this can be written as, so 2 2 2 2, that is 4 times, 2 to the power of 4 into 3 square. So where 2 and 3 are the prime factors, therefore 144 can be written as product of prime factors, that is 4, 2 to the power of 4 and 3 square. So this prime factorization is a unique. Maybe this factor can be written as either 2 to the power of 4 into 3 square, or you can write 3 square into 2 to the power of 4. Order of the factors may be changed, but it is a unique representation. So therefore you can move to the proof of the theorem. So every positive integer n is greater than 1 can be expressed as a product of prime factors uniquely. So we'll move to the proof of the theorem. Let n is greater than 1 be an integer. Suppose if n is a prime, so we have nothing to do. If n is composite number, n is a composite number, then there exists a prime number, prime p1, such that n can be written as p into n1 for some integers n1 here. So you can observe that here, so you take n is equal to 44. So 44 can be written as 2 into 72, where 2 is a prime number, 72 is n1, we can take it as n1, so integer here. So now suppose if n1 is a prime, if n1 is prime, then n can be expressed as p into n1, that is a product of prime factors, that is product of prime factors. Suppose if n1 is a composite number, then there exists a prime p2 such that so n is equal to p into n1, so that is equal to p1 into p2 into n2 for some integers n2. Suppose if n2 is a prime, then n can be written as, that is p1 into p2 into n2. So this implies the product of prime factors. Suppose if n2 is a composite number, then we continue the process, above process, since n is greater than n1, n1 is greater than n2, and so on. The process cannot continue infinitely. Therefore, after finite number of steps, we get n can be written as p1 into p2 and so on pk. So where p1 comma p2 and so on pk are primes. But to show that uniqueness of factorization, and we know that n can be written as a product of prime factors, that is p1 p2 and so on pk. So you correct as equation 1. Let, if possible, n can be represented as a product of primes in two ways, that is n is equal to p1 into p2 and so on pk is equal to q1 into q2 and so on ql, where k less than l. Here pi and qi are primes in increasing order, that is p1 less than or equal to p2 less than or equal to p3 less than or equal to and so on less than or equal to pk, and q1 less than or equal to q2 less than or equal to and so on less than or equal to ql. Since p1 divides q1 into q2 and so on ql, there exists some number qi such that p1 divides qr, but p1 and qr are both primes. Thus p1 is equal to qr. Now rearrange qi's such that p1 is equal to q1 instead of qr. On cancelling p1 with q1 in equation, that is take it as 2, in equation 2 we get p2 into p3 and so on pk is equal to q2 into q3 and so on ql. We continue this process till all pi's are cancelled or exhausted. Now k less than l, we get 1 is equal to 2k plus 1 into 2k plus 2 and so on into ql. So 1 cannot be written as product of qk plus 1 into qk plus 2 and so on ql, because so qk plus 1, qk plus 2 and ql are the prime numbers, which is not possible because Qi's are prime. Therefore, K is not less than L. Similarly, we show that L is not less than K. Hence, we can write K is equal to L. So, and Pi is equal to Qi for all I. So, this implies factorization is unique. Let us move to the problem. Express 560 as a product of prime factors. We have 560, so that can be written as 2 into 280. So this is equal to 2 into 280 can be written as 2 into 140. So this is equal to 2 into 2 into 140 can be written as 2 into 70. So this is equal to 2 into 2 into 2. So 70 can be written as 2 into 35. So this is equal to 2 into 2 into 2 into 2. So 35 can be written as 7 into 5. So therefore 560 can be written as product of prime factors, that is 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 7 into 5. So this is equal to 2 to the power of 4 into 5 into 7. So we can find the prime factors by using another way, by using prime factorization method. So take a number 560. So this number divided by 2, where 2 is a prime number. So 2 2s are 4, then 2 8s are 16, then take 0 here. Again you can divide by 2, 2 1s are 2 4s are 8, then take a 0 down here. Then you can divide by 2 this number. So 2 7s are, then take a 0 here. So again you can divide by 2 this number. 2 3s are, then 2 5s are. So 35 can be divided by either 5 or 7, where 5 is a prime number. So 5 7s. Therefore, so 560 can be written as 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 5 into 7. So therefore, so 560 can be written as 2 to the power of 4 into 5 into 7.